right. Good morning, fire breathers. This is for Dracarys Fit Home 2019-0530 body weight. A little bit different setup today. This is a longer duration of work for each movement. So what's going to happen here is you really need to find a comfortable pace or rep scheme that you can maintain for the entire work period. Because like I said, it is a little bit longer and some of these movements are very easily fatigued, right? So specifically thinking about the push-ups, right? You're not going to be able to do push-ups non-stop for the entire length of your work period. But what I want you to try to do is find a good tempo to where your work, rest, that maybe you can maintain for the entire 5 minutes. When it comes to some of these exercises, you're not necessarily looking for being able to knock out a bunch very quickly, because then as soon as you hit muscle fatigue, right? So if you hit failure too quickly, the time that it takes you to recover from that in order to rep out more isn't worth the sprint to get it done. So try to pace yourself on this one, okay? And so ideally what you'll do is feel like you're holding back on the reins a little bit for the first couple minutes. And then once you have maybe about 90 seconds to a minute left, pick up the pace and bust it out. That's when you should be going for muscle failure, getting in every last rep. You have enough time in these to play with that. And then your score is the total amount of time that not the amount of time. I'm sorry, I read 2 minutes rest in between, so I was thinking time. Your score is your total amount of reps across all the movements. So I just recommend keep count on each movement, jot it down, add it all up at the end. All right, so I'm not going to go in order just because of the angle of the camera, because I'll have to adjust it. These straight leg pulses are out in front of you. Okay, so what it'll look like, you can grab an object if you need to and hold. You want your torso to be upright, nice and tight. We're going to try not to lean as we do this. Your leg's going to be straight. Point your toe. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So each side is 1. You're pulsing that 1 for 3 seconds and keeping count. Okay. So your scaling option for this is just don't go as high. Okay. You want to be, like I said, pointing through your toe, flexing that quad hard. So point that toe hard, flex that quad, and then you're flexing and pulling with your hip flexor up here. You're going to feel it. It's going to hurt. So that is your straight leg pulses. Your incline push-ups, again, is your incline is as big or as small as you need it to be. And just keep note of that in your notes. What did you do your push-ups on? So a couch, a bench, a step, a dining room chair, an ottoman, something that isn't going to slide away from you. The higher up, the easier it is. So you can go all the way up to the wall if you need to, okay? When you do your incline push-ups, try to keep your legs straight. Keep that core nice and tight. So what that means, what does a tight core mean? Someone's about to punch you. You're gonna brace yourself. That's what you want. So you don't wanna just suck it in and be like, try to make my belly as flat as I can. That's not quite what we're going for. You want braced, tight. You want your obliques, your side waist pulling in, getting nice and tight. Maintaining that to the best of your ability as you're straight in the top of your push-up, get your elbows smaller than 90-degree angle, and then push back up. All right? Those are your incline push-ups. Sumo squats are a wide stance. So wherever you normally do your air squats, whatever leg, feet, hip width distance that you like, I want you to go just a little bit further than that. So it's going to look a little bit different for everybody. Toes can be turned out a little bit for this. You still want your knees pushing out against the wall and tracking in the direction of your toes is what you want to think for this. And same squat rules apply for the air squat. Again, that nice tight core, keep that chest lifted, send your hips back, get that weight in those heels, and then after you've sent your hips back, then you can send your hips down, opening up those knees, getting those hips below parallel, and coming to full extension. So wide, back and down, and up, down, and up. I call them sumo squats. If you would like to think of it like a plie squat, by all means think of it like a plie squat. Okay, toes turned out, wide squat. All right, and then adjusting the camera just a little bit. Your other two movements are walking lunges. Your walking lunges, one side is 1 rep. Back knees hitting the ground. You're taking a wide enough step that your front knee is not going over your toe. And you're coming to full extension in between. Squeeze the butt, always squeeze the butt. Down, 1, down, 2. So when I talk about taking a big enough step forward, if you're very narrow, that's when we have a tendency to have that knee come forward over that toe. And then that's where we stretch our knees and we feel knee strain. This is not inherently a problem unless your muscles are tight and you don't have that flexibility in our knees. So we want to minimize the stress to our joints as much as we are able to. So we can do that by taking a big step forward and lunging. Doesn't need to be this big. I'm exaggerating for demonstration purposes. When you go to come up out of your lunge, use both legs. We're not doing this as an isolation movement. We're doing this as a functional movement. So drive off that back toe as you pull with that front leg. Make both legs work. Full extension in between. The other thing that you can keep in mind when you're doing these lunges is they're walking, so you'll be moving. Since, again, we're not doing an isolation, you don't need to be narrow. You can be a little bit wider. Now, you don't want to be too wide, but here's what happens. If I attempt to keep my feet straight as I lunge or even out to the side, I'm going to feel like I'm zigzagging, but my center of mass is staying in a straight line and moving forward. Up, down, up. So if you find yourself kind of stumbling as you lunge, think about stepping diagonally. Okay, it'll keep you more centered. Sounds crazy, try it. You'll probably like it. Then, no push-up burpees. Exactly what they sound like. No push-up, but a burpee. So you still have to jump. So jump or step back into a high plank. Feet back up to your hands. Jump. Okay? So could look like this. As I hit the light, you could step it here and a hop. It is up to you. You're trying to get as many reps of those as possible. Do them however you can do them for the duration of the time frame. So let's see. Modifying, if you are unable, you don't have the balance to do walking lunges, hold an object, reverse lunge, use that object to help pull yourself back up to standing. If you are unable to do a single leg movement like that, let me know. I can give you something different for that. And then the no push-up burpees. If you are unable to jump or hop, just stand up all the way, still get your arms up overhead. My personal belief, right? The way we do them in CrossFit and functional fitness, like burpees don't seem functional, but the ability to pick your body up from the ground to standing is a functional life skill. At some point you will fall and trip, and it might not be 5 minutes straight like this, and you might actually fall down to the ground, but every variation of this that we work can potentially translate to another situation that you find yourself in daily life. I realize it could be an extreme example, but it's a functional movement. Training it differently just makes it fun, right? And no push-up burpees, in my opinion, it's a core exercise because you're holding the plank and you're bending and at your waist. Sneaky core work. So that's that. Always remember you can use your warm-up as the cool down as well. And I think that's it for the day. Have fun. Dracaris, attack with fire.